Hey all, it's Dan from DIY Gardening, and in today's video I'm going to take a look at the Fiskars Xact Weed Puller and why I don't like it and why I don't think that you should waste your money on this tool. Now, if you don't know how these weed pullers work, all you do is you press them into the ground, and as you put your foot onto the pedal, the claws will grip the weed, and you then just lean back, lever the weed puller backwards, and that will pull the weeds out of the ground. And then when you're done, to release the weed, you just press this slider forward, like this. Now, I have two problems with this device. The first one is it's made from what feels like quite lightweight plastic, and there's also moving parts on there, and you've got plastic and metal essentially fixed together. So I know from experience, whenever you've got plastic and metal and moving parts, there's always a longevity issue. There's always a question of how long is this product going to last before it breaks. So that's my first issue. The second issue is it doesn't always pull the weed out, and when it does, it tends to leave the root in the ground quite often. Now, I've tried using it in the dry, I've tried using it after it's been raining, and I've just tried using it in normal weather conditions. I've used it on soil, I've used it on grass, and I've got to say, I've managed to pull out less than 50% of the roots using this product. So for me, it's not a success. I know that if I use a tool like this, I can get out over 90% of the weeds. Obviously, using a manual hand tool like this, I have to get on my hands and my knees, I have to dig around the weed to loosen up the soil, and it is a lot more hard work, but I can get out 90, sometimes 100% of the roots, which obviously means the weeds are not going to grow back. With the Fiskars, well, it's less than 50% of the roots. I actually found it quite frustrating, especially as my soil around here, there's quite a few stones in the soil, and it just wasn't gripping the weed properly because of the stones. So I'll show you a few clips of how I got on today. And this is typical of what you can expect from the Fiskars Xact Weed Puller. Broken root stem on there, which is obviously just going to grow back in the soil. And I think I've hit a stone this time. Yep, that's definitely hit a stone there. Now, I don't want to be too harsh on the Fiskars Xact Weed Puller because it does pull out some of the weeds, if I show you now. So this was a successful one, but as you can see, it's not really a very deep rooted weed. Anything deeper than that and it really struggles to pull it out. So even though the Fiskars Xact wasn't a success for me, it doesn't mean that it's not going to work for everybody. Look, if you've got a really bad back and you physically cannot get onto your hands and your knees to pull the weeds out, then I think this tool is probably your next best option. That said, if you can get down on your hands and your knees, something like this is going to have a much higher success rate, but obviously it takes 5, 6, maybe 10 times as long to pull each weed out, so you're going to have to spend a lot longer out in the garden. But with a higher success rate means that fewer weeds will grow back, because obviously if you leave that root in, it's just going to grow back and you could end up having 2 or 3 different weeds coming back. One other thing to point out, even if you have 100% success rate with either of these tools, don't forget that all of these weeds, they produce seeds, and those seeds will be germinating. So even if you get rid of all the weeds in the garden, you're still going to get some weeds coming back. So it's not as if you can just go out in one go and get rid of all the weeds. You'll always have a few that grow back, so that's something to keep in mind. So thanks for watching my short video of the Fiskars Xact Weed Puller. My name's Dan and I'm from DIY Gardening. I really would appreciate a like. Even more, I'd be very, very grateful if you hit the subscribe button. Thanks once again. My name's Dan and that's from DIYgardening.co.uk.